So welcome to our District 5 update. We're going to begin today. I know everybody has an agenda on the table, but I can tell you that if I were you, just take it, rip it up, and throw it away, because as a typical real estate transaction, we're just going to go with what we got, right? So the first thing I would like to do is just thank everyone for coming, and actually, I'm going to change up things a little bit. So I'm actually going to call Chuck. Yes, sir. So Chuck, come on up and let's give a Florida Realtors update to District 5. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon, District 5. Good afternoon. How's the food? Excellent. It's good? All right. Corey, good job. Thanks. So what I wanted to tell you today is they sent me. And me only, okay? I carry the weight of the leadership team for all of you, all right? So I'm supposed to tease George a little bit. I got the message from Genessa. So any sports fans out there understand that the Miami Heat had a game last night that we won. And as now you guys know, you don't mess with Miami people after a big Miami win. So he's home, recuperating. He was banging the pots and pans all last night in the street. So tell him I said that when you see him. But in all seriousness, what I want to talk to you today about is the leadership team's vision, our goals, and how hard we're working for you behind the scenes. One of the initiatives that I want to bring up, it quickly became like a priority to me, and Genessa will tell you, it seemed like I was calling her and Danielle and Morgan, everybody almost daily, which is, how many of you ever heard of the Hometown Heroes? Anybody? Okay, big priority, big win for us. If you don't know it, it is housingforheroesfl.com. And hot off the press is we believe that there's going to be a waiting list, Genessa, possibly starting June 1st for all your clients that fit that criteria. So I'm hoping all of you know by now that that is the program that is going to provide down payment assistance for all the Hometown Heroes going in. Behind that is in November, you're going to have a amendment that we need all of you to get out and obviously vote yes for, and your consumers. And what that will do is that'll provide an additional homestead exemption for that same group. So we're catching them coming and we're catching them going every year to provide that service for them, because they provided all their services for all of us, obviously during the pandemic and so on. So. And that doesn't happen. What I wanted to tell you also is there's something that comes to mind when things like this happen is it's hard work making it look easy. And what I mean by that is it's not just a trip to Tallahassee. Okay, that's great, that's wonderful, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. The other pieces are the public policy team in Tallahassee, obviously your leadership team, staff as a whole, and all of you. That's how these things happen. Your contributions to RPAC, I know I'm preaching to the choir, that's why they only sent just me. You guys knock it out of the park with everything you do, but I wanted to congratulate you guys with the hard work that you did on making this and the future initiatives happen. So give yourselves a round of applause. And keeping with RPAC, and I hope I'm not stealing Genessa's thunder, we did not talk, but the year to date, we're 923,000 above what we did last year. So year over year. Yeah. And is there anything going on in real estate that we need to discuss? Everything's great. Inventory's great. Property insurance, right? Killing it, right? So, as I'm sure you guys know as well, there's a special session that's starting next week. Okay? That will hopefully tackle and come out with some sort of program to help us tackle the issue of obviously property insurance for everything that we're dealing with. Not only the rates and the companies dropping our consumers, but also the fraud that was going on. So CFO Petronas, I'm sure you guys saw a few weeks ago, there were, I believe, 2 arrests made for roofers that were committing fraud, and I'm sure there's more to come. So again, these initiatives, the visits to Tallahassee, the call for actions, anything that we do with any key contacts in the room, everything makes a difference, no matter how small you think it is. So thank you for doing that. And yesterday, there was an announcement from CFO Petronas. There were, I think there were 7 or 8 people from around the state, and one of them was your president, Christina Pappas, as quoted as saying her support for Petronas and his office and what they're doing to tackle this fraud issue. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but it should be coming through your news soon. And there is another event coming up. How many people have heard of WIRE? All the women, definitely, right? And the men too. So, Margie likes, yeah. That's always something, right? So, that is June 7th, and that's actually in Marriott, Sanibel Harbor, and Fort Myers. So close to you guys. So, everyone going? All right. And so, funny thing is, past President Eric Sane, he should really trademark this because everyone seems to be quoting the same thing, which is people don't come to Florida for their mountains, right? They come for the water, right? So, has anybody contributed to? Yeah, thanks. Has anybody contributed to the Clean Up Waters project yet? Okay. All right. So check your calendars. Those dates are out as well. Obviously, like I said, we want to make sure that our waterways are clear. I know that Governor DeSantis backs the water initiatives. We got money for that as well. So go out, contribute, take pictures, do the social media bit. Let all, not just realtors, but all your consumers know that you're helping keep their property values and keeping their water clean. And so as a leadership team, what I want to convey to you as well is we will remain effective and strong in advocacy. We know that, it's funny. So I look back a few years ago when I was on the Leadership Academy in 2011, best class ever. So, right, Blanca? There she is. So every year they have a project. So one of the things we looked at is all the products, tools, and services and things that we had. And I'm happy to report that back then, one of the things that we looked at was advocacy, and we felt like the message was backwards. We felt like we asked for money, and then we tried to educate. Well, I think there's been a really big shift in that, where more people are educated now and understand it, and that's why you're seeing the growth there. So we will continue to advocate for you and obviously push out initiatives. I don't know how many of you guys was able to attend Genessa and Communications actually got together for the first time last year for RPAC training. And Mike McGraw obviously is 110% on board with that, to the point that, I don't know, has he made it here yet? Yes. You guys? Okay. So he's literally traveling around the state to every board, and I think Genessa's hit pretty much everyone with him. He was going 8 to 8 Monday to 5 different boards. So he's totally committed to that. The other thing is we will continue to enhance your current products, tools, and services, and obviously look for any new opportunities for products, tools, and services. So be on the lookout. I was talking to Corey earlier, and everyone always asks me, so do you like it? What's going on? Are you busier? Yes, yes, yes. But I'm having fun, and I look at it and I say, I've only been in the position 5 months, but there's so much work that we did. And I look at it and I say, if a week passes and we haven't had a meeting or something, we'll get little updates and stuff. I feel like I'm not doing enough. But then when you look back and you see these talking points and all these things that have accomplished and will accomplish, it's a lot of work. I mean, just a short amount of time. So what I want you guys to know is our work doesn't stop just at the conventions and just at some meetings that we do. It's almost a daily grind that we're doing to try to make you guys be proud to be a Florida Realtor. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Corey. And if there's any questions, I don't know if we have time for that, I'll take them. If not, you guys can reach out. On behalf of your leadership team, we thank you guys. We want to be accessible and accountable to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update, Chuck. Appreciate that. Next, I would like to call up Public Policy Update, Senior Political Director, Genessa Casanova. Genessa, welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. As you all know, your district is near and dear to my heart. I would spend a lot of time here as much as possible because for me this is the easiest drive and probably one of the most beautiful places in the state. So I'm just so honored to be here, and thank you, Corey, for the invitation. She has been an incredible DVP and an advocate for your district. So thanks again for the invitation. So I want to start my presentation by first saying a special shout out to Mr. Brett Brown, who has reached over $100,000 of RPAC contributions. So he missed running across this stage at NAR, so I thought any opportunity I have to embarrass him, I will. But many of you were there and shared that joy and excitement with him, and congratulations to you all who also hit Hall of Fame. This district never disappoints. Every time I get an alert onto my inbox, it's one of your associations with a new major investor or a new activity that you're doing for your association. So I could not be more proud of you all. Soon I will be hanging out with the Sanibel Association, cruising in the sunset. Right, Bill? He promised me. Yes, and to his rights, they promised me drinks. So I know they're very excited for that event. But with that said, a lot of the stuff that Chuck discussed, I'm just going to kind of touch a little bit more on and expand upon. As you guys know, we entered legislative session this year in January. Last year was a very interesting year. This specific district had was very well aware of the challenges that we faced in Tallahassee, and it was brought back home to you all, and it was constantly knocking at your door. I will say that since then, we have really engaged back the Senate leadership and the House leadership, and we're partners and really engaging them, where we're back at the table and working together as advocates. A big reflection of that is the Hometown Heroes program that Chuck mentioned earlier. The Hometown Heroes program was a result of last year and our work with the House and the Senate. Above the SHIP and the sale dollars, you saw an extra $100 million added for the Hometown Heroes program. This program will be very different to the SHIP and the sale dollars. This will be a loan revolving program. The way it works is that any teacher, nurse, firefighter, and the critical workforce, so that also includes 911 operators and people who fall into that field, are able to apply for down payment assistance or closing cost assistance. The difference is that it will not be separated by counties across the state. Anyone can go and apply for this program once it becomes available. What Chuck was earlier alluding to was the fact that on June 1st, the program will start its registration, or I would say reservation process. The portal will open, and you all or your clients will be able to go into the portal and reserve their spot for this program. It won't go live until the governor signs the budget, and that won't happen until July. So I ask you all to keep that in mind. What will happen very soon is that Governor DeSantis will have a very exciting announcement, hopefully early next week, to announce this program and the process of that program. So more details will come early next week to you all as to how to apply to that program and how the program itself works. But ideally, they would pull out this down payment assistance or closing cost assistance. And when they sell their home, they would repay back to the program, so that the program itself is a self-sustaining program. And we don't have to continuously go back to the legislature and say, hey, we need more money, we need more money. So that was part of the results of our negotiations and our work, really to build back that relationship and that trust with the Senate and the House leadership. Above that, as you all know, you came to Great American Realtor Days, and we had an exciting year. Typically, we're about 600 realtors at the Capitol, but we hit almost 1,000 members coming to Tallahassee, and we could not be more excited to show off our office that was renovated during the pandemic, and as well as to show off our advocacy efforts at the Capitol when every time you turned a corner, one of you were there. So it was a really exciting moment for our advocacy efforts to be right there in the forefront and remind these legislators that we did it once before and we'll do it again. So we will activate our members, and we want to make sure that our voice is always heard in Tallahassee. As session wrapped up and we had a lot of legislative wins, I would be remiss if I didn't mention we went back into a special session for redistricting. We're about to head into an election year. And the truth is that every 10 years they go through this process where they redraw the maps, and there's some contention back and forth of how these maps should look. The legislative maps are settled. So the House districts and the Senate districts are changing numbers, and you may see a lot of movement with some of your legislators picking new numbers and new seats just because the maps have kind of switched a little bit. Most of those processes should be done in the next week or two, with the qualifying deadline being in June. However, there's always a surprise in Florida. The congressional maps that were signed during that redistricting special session was challenged in a court proceeding last week and finally removed. And so we are moving forward with the maps that are now in existence through this election cycle. But that's not to say that these congressional maps will not change again. For the most part, your congressional maps in this district will remain the same. The real area of contention is up in the Panhandle. It is what they have referred to historically as a minority access seat. And that relates to Congressman Al Lawson. And his seat significantly changed through the redistricting process. That is the one seat that's being challenged and will likely continue to be challenged throughout the legislative process. And it will pan out in the court system. This is not anything, it's strange. It happens every time redistricting comes forward. And honestly, this time around, the process was a little bit more streamlined because there weren't as many loops that they had to kind of jump over or go through, because that process was already settled 10 years ago. So again, the only thing pending would literally be questioned would be that one congressional seat in the Panhandle. So above the hometown heroes and our success with so many other programs, you saw an additional homestead tax that we advocated for again, that critical workforce. As realtors, our goal is simple: the dream of homeownership. Keeping people and getting people into the door and having their first home and creating that access to have a first home. But we want to keep them there, and we want to make sure that they have the accessibility and the ability to stay in their homes. So the additional homestead redemption would be for that exact class that would benefit from the Hometown Heroes program. This is something that will be on the November general ballot. It will be referred to as Amendment 3. So we just keep moving on down, guys. We went from Amendment 2, we're on Amendment 3 now. And so what will happen is that while you guys are visiting us in Orlando for the August convention meetings, that Tuesday is actually the primary election. Towards the end of the week is when we'll officially launch the constitutional amendment campaign for Amendment 3. Because it will be on the November ballot, we want to make sure that there is no ballot confusion as to when the actual amendment will be on the ballot. So again, that will be Amendment 3 for the additional homestead reduction of $50,000, and that will be on the general election ballot. And finally, we move into the trust funds. This year, in addition to the $100 million, we secured another $262 million to fund the Sadowski trust funds. These trust funds were separated, as you know, into SHIP and sale dollars. Of that $262 million, $209 million went into the SHIP program, which has been traditionally the program that realtors advocate for, and the balance of that was given to the sale program. In water quality issues, as you all know, you sounded the alarm here a few years ago. Again, Corey and a lot of you guys were at the forefront of these water quality issues many years ago when Governor DeSantis took office. Since he's taken office, $3.6 billion have been allocated to help with water quality relief projects. Alone, 1.5 this legislative session. That includes Everglades restoration, a lot of the projects that you're seeing with Lake O, kind of bringing those into fruition and wrapping up some projects that had already started and making sure they have the funding to complete those projects. You're going to see sales tax relief to hardened homes. That was something that was part of the tax package. Anyone here adding impact windows, anything of that sort that would help you harden your home, that would take place beginning in July. So if you were going to go purchase these doors or these windows, there'll be some sales tax relief for those products and services. And then condo reform. As you all know, tragedy struck South Florida with Surfside. We honestly thought that there would be tremendous reform hitting the condo market. But the House and the Senate could not agree with one thing, and that was reserves. The House of Representatives believed that the reserves should not be waived, while the Senate believed that the reserves should be able to be waived if 2/3 of the homeowner units agreed to it. At the end, nothing happened. You're starting to see legislation pop up in Miami-Dade County, Broward, and the Palm Beaches to kind of deal with some of the condo reform issues. But I suspect as we enter the new leadership with the House and the Senate, The speaker designate after the next speaker is from Miami, and he will have a heavy hand in policy, so I believe that there will be some type of reform coming with condos. And then property insurance. This is where I run out the door and hope for the best. Property insurance has been at the top of everything. As Chuck mentioned, President-elect Mike McGraw and myself have been visiting all the boards across the state. I think we're at about 36 boards launching here in District 5 a few months ago. Across the board, except for one board, which they just had different issues, property insurance was a priority for every single member of ours. I can tell you that as we head into the election cycle and we begin to screen races, every state elected candidate that has been running for office, the number one issue is property insurance. There has only been 2 instances in which a candidate has not said that property insurance was at the top of their list. And that's because they're trial attorneys. So their perspective is a little different. So what you're going to see is that we're heading into a special session on property insurance next week. On Monday, our legislative team is right there right now, drafting legislation and working with the House and the Senate and the governor's office to find an equal medium. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a negotiation back and forth. Senate and House leadership is as is, which means the Senate president is still Wilton Simpson and the House Speaker is still Chris Sprowls, who is a trial attorney. So it has been a lot of negotiation back and forth. I think the ideal scenario is to find some type of consumer relief during this special session. Long-term relief will be something that will be organized during the next legislative session with the incoming Senate leadership and House leadership. Senator Pasadomo has made this a priority for her. She understands it as a member of Naples, and she understands it as just practitioner itself. So she's going to work to develop long-term solutions post this special session. What you'll see from Florida Realtors is that we have the insurance work group meeting on Thursday, the public policy think tank meeting on Friday, so that we can continue to be a voice for our membership and let them know what's happening through the legislative process. I suspect that the bill and the negotiations will kind of wrap up on Friday so that when special session starts, there's actually something to be debated and something to be discussed. So pay attention to your emails. You'll see a lot of stuff on Facebook, and you'll see a lot of information coming from our public policy team in Tallahassee. Happy to answer any questions about that. No? Mr. Pylon, right? He can answer anything, right? So I'm just excited to be here. As Chuck mentioned, we have had a record-breaking fundraising year at RPAC. It has been a real thrill for me to see the incoming leadership team with Mr. George Guerra running around the state and the rest of the leadership team making advocacy a priority for our membership. President Christina Pappas is always out and about advocating for our association. She's on talk shows, she's on news programs, always making sure that our voice is heard at every single platform we have. So you have incredible leadership at the Florida Realtors leadership team, but it doesn't stop there. It starts with you all. And we believe that politics and everything in advocacy starts at the local association. So thank you all for your time and your efforts, to your committees, to your association executives who I probably annoy way too much, and your staff and your government affairs directors, because they honestly have been at the forefront of being your voice and making sure that everything is handled and that all your concerns are heard at not only at the Florida level, but also at the National Association. So again, Ms. Corey, thank you so much for your invitation, and thank you guys for inviting. Thank you, Genessa. Move it up just a little bit. Thank you, Genessa. Appreciate that. So Genessa alluded to a Sanibel event with cruise and drinks, and since District 5 is a family, can you tell us a little bit about this cruise with drinks?
So it's a major investor appreciation event, and it's June 15th on Captiva. So we're leaving from Captiva and having drinks and hors d'oeuvres.
Sweet. Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you. Well, since we're a family, hey, you just might get some people outside of Sanibel that join you. Just saying. Okay, so a couple other things. I actually cornered Megan, and thank God she's willing to come up and give us some information. But I asked her to give us some information on the Silent Angels year to date. So Megan, can you give us an update? You can do it from there, here, whatever you're more comfortable with.
Well, I have my notes on the back of my Publix receipt in my purse.
Perfect.
So, year to date, thanks to 2 events that you guys have attended. Our first one was Realtors at the Rink at the Everblades game. We raised $785 for Silent Angels. Our second was our most recent event, District 5 Bowling. At that tournament, we raised $2,553. So we've raised a total of $3,338 for Silent Angels year to date so far. So thank you guys. I want you to go ahead and hold the date for next year, April 22nd, 2023, for our bowling tournament. Unfortunately, the bowling tournament has increased prices per lane by $20. So expect probably a $5 increase. Remember, it's for charity. And so while I'm also talking, I am the vice chair of Florida Realtors Education Foundation. So I wanted to let you guys know this year we were able to give out $270,000 in scholarships to our students, 15 which came from our district. So that was 61 scholarships at $1,000, 126 at $1,200, and 34 at $1,700. And then as far as our water event, it's outside of the June window, but we're going to be working with Keep Lee County Beautiful and doing a water cleanup on July 5th. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. Appreciate that. Talking about the water event, I know Chuck touched on it a little bit, but I know each of us probably have different events aligned. So one of our wonderful presidents here within the district who doesn't want to be named and I were talking, and we talked about maybe putting together like a District 5 calendar so that we can put all events on that calendar and then everybody will have access to it. So Marty, sorry, you thought you were done with me last year with stuff, but we got one more thing to do. So we'll work together on that so that everybody can have access to that and participate in each other's events. We do have one other thing that we're working on. It's we haven't finalized all the details yet. Actually, there's a meeting tomorrow about it, but we're working with Sid Fernandez, who's part of NARREP, and we're actually going to put together, he's working on it now, how many of you are familiar with the Mighty Muscles? Okay, so we're going to put together a District 5 event at the Mighty Muscles Park. This is going to be in September, so be on the lookout for that. It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's not too hot then, and Chuck and Genessa, we would love for you guys to come over and watch a little baseball with us. So that's pretty much it for now. Did I miss anything? I know I talked to a bunch of people about things, but maybe not. Was anybody else? Dominic, would you like to come up and give us an update with anything? I mean, come on, you can always talk, right?
I just want to thank.
Come on up.
I just want to thank you all for doing such a great job for your RPAC. It's amazing. We're already above and beyond last year's investments, and I just want to thank you all for getting the word out to the members that RPAC does make a difference. And as Genessa and Chuck just stated, I mean, it's what we're doing in the legislature is just amazing. We have a big year. The RPAC trustees have a big year this year. Funding a lot of the candidates, both Democrat and Republican, Realtor champions. So we have a lot of work to do. We're meeting in July, and we're going to make sure that we have great people that represent us in Tallahassee. So thank you. Thank you all.
I have a question for Dominic.
Yes.
I understand you're the chairman of the subcommittee for the Naples auction, RPAC auction.
Oh, yeah,
You want to tell anybody about
I
it?
am, and we have an event that's second to none. That's going to happen Friday. I believe it's at the neighbor board. Please, if you can't make it in person, you can go online and sign up for our auction. We have some great things to purchase for yourself or your family. So let's get involved. Let's make that RPAC contribution. Thank
If I
you.
wanted to come, how much is it?
It's $20 to show up in person. The $20 actually goes towards your RPAC investment for the year. So it's a great time to come to Neighbor. We have barbecue. We have barbecue all you can eat. Food and drinks. It's going to be a great time. Thank you.
That starts at 5:30?
5:30, Bill. We should have just.
Yeah, I know. Never a dull moment with this crew, huh? Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else have any updates they want to give? Do that again. Amy. Amy, come on up, Amy.
Captiva. I just want to say it's great to see everybody here. Thank you, Corey, for putting this together, and thanks, Chuck, for making the appearance and coming on behalf of Florida Realtors. It's awesome to see our representatives here, and it makes us all feel like you guys really care about each of us individually. So thanks everybody for putting it together. I just wanted to mention in October we're going to be doing our RPAC golf auction and golf outing. It's sort of our end of season thing, beginning of season, and that'll be in Sanibel this year at the Dunes. I think we're doing this in October. Do you have a date yet? 12th. The 12th. So you can see I wouldn't know anything if it wasn't for Bill. So we've got a good turnout today. You mentioned the cruise on June 15th. That's an RPAC appreciation event. We're trying to get people who were capital investors or statesmen to step up to the next level and understand how easy it is really to become a major investor and how much it means. We've heard from a few members, comments about, well, we've met our goals, so why do we need to do X, Y, or Z? And I think it's really important about what you were saying, that it really comes down to education first and then asking about it, but making sure people understand what's going on and making it fun. And I have to applaud the Royal Palm Coast Association and Bill's ideas about doing some of these events they've done, and I think we can all learn from each other on programs and events that work and bring people together and help support. So that jukebox event you did, I'll let you tell him about it, but it was super, and he's got other great ideas in the works. But we'll hope to see you all at the Wire event June 7th, and thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Your last chance, Megan.
I want to introduce you guys to your 2023 District Vice President, Hunter Habib, who will be carrying the torch for you, Corey, moving in. So he is currently our 2022 Board President. I'm very excited to lead this group next year. Currently uncontested, and at this point in time, we know nobody else is running. So Bear is happy to take the lead with the DVP next year. So.
Awesome. Congrats, Hunter. I know we, I like to end early, so this is a good thing, right? Anybody else? Last chance, last call. Anybody want to stand up and say anything? This is a room full of family, so no?
I will.
Oh, Bill, come on.
Silly me.
Silly you.
I happen to be your state chair for RPAC participation, and a lot of great ideas. We've heard bantered around events to have, and I would share this with you that I've shared with a number of people. Our greatest advocates should be our major investors, and I would ask every one of you to encourage your major investors at any given moment to take the opportunity to share with others why it is important to them and why they are major investors. And one of the best ways that you can do that is, if you can, to try to train up your major investors to open conversations with, hey, what level of RPAC investor are you? And if we can demonstrate that when we're out with folks and they see us opening conversations that way, it just opens the gate for us to say, gosh, if it wasn't for RPAC, then many of us wouldn't have been working, a couple of years ago. And we can talk about the wins, and I absolutely believe that education before the ask is really effective. So every one of us, as we go back, while we talk about the fact that we have met a financial goal, I think we really have to focus, on the fact that it's awesome that our people that normally give are generous, but I think we also have to enlarge in the family if you will, of the people that are in the know of why it's so important to be an RPAC member, and that the fact that in their own communities, around the citizens of the community, how important it is to talk about the wins that happen politically because of our involvement. And one of the things that we're doing in our associations, one of our focuses this year is community involvement, and making sure that the community knows that we advocate for them, just like Florida Realtors advocates for us, and we're really happy about it. A lot of times the community doesn't really know how much we advocate for them to see the value in our realtors that are out there as a part of the community and citizenry. So that would be just an ask on my part, is if you could. I don't want us to get complacent as it relates to RPAC, because we've done so well with fundraising. We need more horses pulling the wagon. Because anybody who's been in the industry long enough to knows the day will come where it's not like today, and everybody's gonna be working hard and the money won't flow as easy. We won't have things to talk about like we did, where our advocacy allowed us all to work, so that's a big, well, I can see why that's important. And so we won't have a win maybe as big. So we'll need more horses pulling the wagon tomorrow. So let's not lose sight of the fact that we really need to blow away our participation goals. I'd love to see us break 40. I mean, that would be awesome. So, right now, most of us in our associations, when you look at who does the business, it's about half of the people. Well, if half of the people do the business, then half of the people ought to be RPAC members. And that's the way I look at it, and I hope you could look at it that way too and share it inside of your associations. Thanks.
Thank you both. Yes, PJ.
Feel the pressure. Because it's the Florida Realtors chair of the participation. I am major investor recognition. If you have any ideas of how we can better recognize you, let me know. PJ Smith, Naples, Treasurer, or go through Genessa. We're going to actually work on this later. We have some cool ideas coming down the pipe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But the other thing I want to do is...
And Chuck's here, so now
and Chuck's here, don't move. So what we do is we look for ideas from all over the state of how we can better recognize from our 1,000 all the way up. And like I said, we've had a toolkit and some cool things that will help you in smaller boards and also the larger ones that have contributed from Miami to Santa. The other thing is I serve on the land use for Florida Realtors, the committee. And we're doing, actually it's kind of cool, we're going to launch our water quality with NAR. They're going to do their version of it. And they're going to launch it at Orlando. So just FYI, we're just kind of piggybacking on what Jeff Fagan and our land use did. So just kind of keep your eyes on it. It's going to be kind of cool. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, PJ. Anybody else? Last call. No? All right. Geez, I feel like I need a gavel. But anywho, Chuck, Genessa, thank you so much for coming over today. We really appreciate you. You're the extended family of District 5, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.